So I walked in the office. I grabbed a bottle. I immediately sent a picture to Bucky, and Bucky said, "Holy crap!" And the reason why Bucky said "Holy crap" is because, to our knowledge, and we scoured the interwebs. Nobody has done a review on this. The website that's attached to it isn't even up and running, from what I understand.
Yeah, I sent you a screenshot of what's supposed to be the website. There's nothing there,
and it's a good one. To my knowledge, there's not a whole lot of bottles of these floating around yet.
No.
I don't know about in any other states, but I know in Southeast Texas, where we all call home, there's not a whole lot of them floating around.
So, from what I understand, it's supposed to be a January release.
Yes,
I wrote a little bit of a press release.
Ooh.
If you would all like to hear it.
Sure. I'm all about press releases.
It does mention the name of it, so I don't know if you want to pull it out as I'm reading.
Sure. I'll get my hand on it.
All right. In what may be a first for both the Functional Gentleman and for this whiskey, we're excited to reveal to the world what we believe is actually the first online review of this Traveler Whiskey. Traveler Whiskey is a joint venture between Chris Stapleton, an international icon for country music, and Buffalo Trace, one of, if not the most recognizable historic Kentucky bourbon distillers. Aptly named for Stapleton's 2015 critically acclaimed studio album of the same name, Traveler Whiskey is set to release publicly January 2024. Everyone knows his massive hit, Tennessee Whiskey, but despite the popularity and obvious connection there, it was Stapleton's connection with Kentucky that ultimately led him to this decision, as he grew up not too far from the Frankfort distillery Buffalo Trace in Lexington. Chris Stapleton is no stranger to the Buffalo Trace distillery. He's done previous single barrel picks for their E.H. Taylor brand, as well as in 2021 donated an $18,000 bottle of E.H. Taylor single barrel to a raffle benefiting Franklin County Humane Society. If his whiskey blending and tasting profile is anything like his soulful, smashing vocal talent, we are truly in for an amazing experience. Buffalo Trace, no stranger to the spotlight themselves, with national craze to find and own their releases, whether Pappy Van Winkle, their full Weller lineup, the BTAC annual releases, all the way down to the bottom shelf budget slaying benchmark series that has seen a recent uptick in social media posts. In my opinion, there's no way they could have taken this decision lightly. As with a lot of the celebrity whiskeys that we've seen, they have to take notice to that as well.
So is that are you done with your presser?
There's more, but we can dive into it.
Okay.
I'll release it on our website.
Okay.
That was gonna be my question, is the fact, and I get that, because I owned his first studio album, I own it on vinyl, and it was Traveler, and I'm a big vinyl guy. But I was so curious of why it wasn't gonna be a Tennessee-based whiskey.
Right.
That's crazy.
He was born and grew up.
He's actually from
in
Kentucky.
Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah. He's from Kentucky.
So we present to the world Traveler Whiskey.
Traveler Whiskey.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So apparently, also too, this is it's called Blend 40 because according to an article that I read from both, I guess, Harlan Wheatley and Stapleton, that they went through 50 different blends.
Okay.
And this was the one they both agreed on, and it was blend number 40. So that's why it says blend 40 on the bottle. The bottle, if you look at the background, also has a road map of that area of Kentucky, the Lexington, Frankfort, all that area.
Right.
So I think that was a pretty cool little homage to where Stapleton's from.
And to taste it, because we're about to dive into the taste of it.
Yes.
But just to know a little bit about Chris Stapleton, because I've followed his career, okay? He like you said, he is very soulful. He grew up listening to people like B.B. King and people like the greats back then. And, but he also has a more rockier, edgier side too. So I'm hoping those kind of assessments come into his taste in whiskey as well.
Outlaw State of Mind to me is one of the most underrated songs on that album. Yeah, on the Traveler album by far. So without further ado, let's get the pours.
Let's do it. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Nice deep pop.
Bang it.
And I like that the bottle design it's not like another Buffalo Trace bottle. It's got its own look, but it's very simple as far as the label, the wording on it. It's just super simple. It almost kind of looks like, if you look at the side of the front label, it's almost like a cigar band, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
We are 95% sure that we are the first people to review this.
Hi, Sarah.
I'm super excited about it. So this is co-founded with Chris Stapleton and Harlan Wheatley,
Yes.
the master distiller of Buffalo
Yes.
Trace. Something I still am not sure of and would love to get more information. For the record, I did not, or as far as I know, Roy did not either reach out to either Chris Stapleton or Harley Wheatley for any kind of information on this.
I'm good, but I ain't that good.
Would be awesome.
It
but
would be awesome.
We do not have that opportunity as of yet. So if you look at the spec sheet as well as the back of the bottle, I'm still kind of curious of what the distillery is.
Yeah, because it doesn't say that it's distilled by Buffalo
Right.
Trace. It says blended and
So-
bottled.
Correct.
By
It says
Buffalo Trace.
proudly blended and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery, Frankfort, Kentucky. So there is no mention of this being any of the Buffalo Trace mash bills.
Yeah, I mean, it very well.
I would assume, but again,
It's all
with
assumption
it being
at
a
this-
blended
yes.
whiskey, there's a very good possibility that it's not as well,
And,
or that they're using other distilleries.
Yeah, and that's the part that
Whiskey
we don't
in
know
it.
about.
And
The
before you-
coolest thing I like
Steel
about
drivers. I know.
it, if you're into like collecting tops, so this one actually has a brand with Stapleton signature in
Right.
it.
Yeah, it's not a fancy schmancy top.
No,
It's not a horse. It's
no,
not
it's-
an emblem that you would see on the hood of an old car, kind of like the St. Cloud thing.
St. Cloud. I like where you did. I like where you went with that.
Why?
So this is Traveler whiskey.
Yes,
Blend number 40 comes in
Yes.
at 90 proof.
this bottle, from insider information that I do know, will not even be sold in this area until after Whiskey Fest. You will be able to try it at Whiskey Fest. It will be. That's where
Oh, it will be available
It
at
will
Whiskey
be at
Fest?
Whiskey Fest. I had that confirmed earlier today. It will be at Whiskey Fest. So it comes in two different offerings too. By the way, it comes in a 750 and it comes in a 1 liter.
Oh, they are going to sell
They
it in a
are
1
going to sell it in
liter?
a 1 liter.
Interesting
The,
choice.
the 1 liter's a little more higher. Like right now, based off of what I'm seeing, it's around that $50 ish.
Okay.
But still, for a 1 liter whiskey,
Yeah,
not
for-
bad.
no.
So
And what's the price point on the 750?
it states 40,
But
but
to go kind of back to what you said about the branding and all this other build up to other things, the only thing I've found online were a few interviews from like September and October.
Yes.
So there really hasn't been a whole lot of fanfare around
no,
this.
they've kept it kind of quiet. They've kept it close to the vest. They really have with this one, and I'm not gonna lie, like it looks good. I love the coloration of it in the bottle. Like I said earlier, I love the simplicity
Yeah, it's
of
very.
the bottle.
I kind of showed it a while ago. It's very golden amber.
Yes, very golden.
I could smell this all night long.
I
Like
know,
I may
it's-
not
it's
even
got a-
drink it.
It's got
got
a very good
nose.
nose to it.
Lots of vanilla. I mean, it's got the classic whiskey bourbon notes that you want.
Yes, it does. It does. But I'm curious if you get one thing, because you normally go this route. So I'm actually looking at the tasting notes that I got via the sale deck.
Okay.
So I'm curious on if you can pick up on this one particular thing, because you mentioned the vanilla. That is in the tasting notes. But there's one thing in particular that I'm wanting you to get, and I hope you get it. I don't know if I'm going to get it or not, because I don't really go that way.
Little hint of leather.
Okay. It's got a really good mouthfeel to it.
Yeah.
Like it's got that. I would say it's kind of a as cliche as it's going to sound, a Kentucky hug. I mean, we've used that term before.
Yeah,
on
and
the
it
show.
it does. I mean, it's got the shorter end of a finish that you would
Yes.
expect from a 90 proof.
Yes.
But it does linger. I mean,
Yeah, it lingers.
I can still-
And it's very like to me. I get kind of a not real bready, but there's some kind of something to it. I can't put my finger on. So the seriousness
kinda-
at hand though.
going back to that bready note that you mentioned, I would lean more pie crust because it's sweeter.
You're close. From what I'm reading, you're very close. That's why I wanted to pick your palate, because I know what my palate tastes, and it's not what is stated in this.
Jake, we don't know what. Then that's what I was saying earlier, just to kind of go back to that first comment before John lost his mind over there, keeping it professional. We don't know what mash bill this is,
No,
and
we
like
do
I
not.
said, it doesn't even say distilled by Buffalo Trace.
No.
It specifically says blended and bottled by Buffalo Trace.
Yes.
So it may contain some Buffalo Trace whiskey in it. It may contain other distilleries whiskey in it. We don't know. Knowing Buffalo Trace, I don't know that we'll ever know, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah,
So-
we may not know.
How many?
I could almost lean into a Bardstown flavor profile there.
Okay.
I'm not going to assume. I don't want to do that.
No.
This could very well be 100% Buffalo
It
Trace.
very well could be.
Just a blend of all their mash
But I
bills.
like
don't
the
know.
fact that they have the simplicity of the bottle and stuff that we talked
Yes,
about earlier.
very much
But
so.
they also have the mystery of
What is it?
what is it?
Because whenever I first started figuring out a lot of this stuff as we walk through this,
Right.
excuse me, one of the things I was really hoping for, knowing Mr. Stapleton's
Mr.
connection
Stapleton.
with E.H. Taylor, I was
Right.
really hoping it would lean into that E.H. Taylor profile, that mash bill,
I could see that.
and want to pull from that.
Okay.
Is it? I don't know.
But do you think maybe he wanted to make his own like unique kind of thing?
It's very possible.
Okay.
And it might be.
Yeah, I mean,
Barton, and if I'm not mistaken, Barton is under the Sazerac roof, I think.
think it is. I'd have to go back and double check, but I think it is. For sure.
But first thoughts. Yes. This
Yeah.
is something I could recommend to somebody.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then: would you consider this a entry level whiskey? Like if somebody like brand new walks up to you and says, "Hey,
I think
I've
so.
never had a drop of whiskey in my life," would you steer them this direction, or would you?
It would. So it leans heavy bourbon.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie about that. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's got a little different flavor profile for me, at least, from some of the classic bourbon notes. I mean, I think it would be the
Speaking
next
of
step,
that,
maybe.
can you go-
Yes, real quick. Let me do that. Quick shout out to Giglio, Roy, everybody over there at that team for allowing us this opportunity.
Yes, for sure.
This is
I
something.
was super surprised whenever it was.
Yeah, this is something I was not
presented.
expecting as a Christmas present.
No, I didn't
I was
either.
extremely excited whenever I got the photo of it.
Yes.
We're extremely grateful for the opportunity to
No,
be
for
able to
sure,
even
yes.
do this. So, I mean,
Yeah, because
this is something great.
To me,
So,
this
yeah.
is
All right.
Huge shout out.
yes.
I think it's really cool that Buffalo Trace took their time with this. I think it's really great that Harlan Wheatley was a huge part of this.
That's what intrigued
walking
me.
with Chris Stapleton through this whole process, going through, like you said, over 50 different blends before
Yeah.
settling on one. This is going to come out, and as more information is released, this is something people can get excited
Well,
about.
And I think that's kind of what you go with, especially if you have a celebrity whiskey. You're looking for something with drinkability that new people. Because if I'm going into a store and I'm a brand new drinker of whiskey, and I say, "Hey, what would you recommend?" and you say the name Chris Stapleton, I'm automatically going to buy that
Right,
bottle.
your ears perk up and you're
Right.
intrigued.
And then all of a sudden, I drink this and it has great drinkability, and you're like, okay, well, now I want to explore more options.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a starter pack for people who want to love whiskey.
And that's
I
an
would
easy
thi-
connection.
Yeah, that is a very easy connection.
Because, I mean, you mentioned, like you said, Chris Stapleton, even Buffalo Trace Distillery, people automatically know. And now I'm telling you that they're together and they're doing stuff like this. Yes, that is something that's an easy segue for people
Right.
from a bunch of different directions to get into it and want to try it and then expand from there.
Yeah.
Oh, you are right. You let it kind of sit and
Yeah.
let it kind of marinate, quote unquote. I like it. I think I like the nose better when it sits as opposed to when it's poured out of the bottle.
So that's the next question. What are your first thoughts of it? Where do you put it? I mean, is it a shelfer for you? Is it kind of a special occasion type thing where you
I don't
want
think
to
it's-
talk to people about it? But
I think that's where it's at. I mean, it's not a like super special occasion, but
Right.
it's one of those things where I'm like, hey, have you tried this? And people are like, well, no, I haven't.
it's a cool bottle to bring to a little get together.
Yes, it is very much so. To me, it's almost everything I expected. Knowing about Chris Stapleton like I do, as far as his style and his simplicity to his life, I like it.
And if you've been paying attention to our Instagram and Facebook, I've been posting clues.
I love your
all
clue
week.
package, by the way. You did
3 of the clues I posted were songs from Stapleton's Traveler album.
Which one?
It was Parachute, because
Yes.
it was a whiskey
Right.
bottle with a
It was
parachute.
Parachute, yes.
And then the second one,
Outlaw State of Mind.
Outlaw State of Mind.
Yes.
and
Which
then,
I love the fact that you did that one, by the way. That you were reading my mind when I literally saw that one. I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
that's a great one, because if you look at it, it
Dude's
says
a-
Outlaw Whiskey, but in the
Yes.
background there's a sign that says State of Mind.
State of Mind.
So it's Outlaw State of Mind, and then of course whiskey.
Right.
And then the third one this morning was Tennessee whiskey, but I put it was just whiskey, but it was finished in strawberry wine
Yes.
casks, because it's
The lyric from
you're
the
as
song,
sweet
yeah.
as strawberry
Yeah.
wine. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then this evening was a buffalo sitting drinking a glass of whiskey, and in the very top corner it says Traveler Bar and Grill, and then Chris Stapleton is kind of blurry, but he's up in the rafter.
You're so talented.
He is very talented when it comes to the socials.
There's a pie note, and I can't figure it out.
So you want me to tell you what it
So
says in the tasting
I'm getting the
notes?
pie crust, but on the nose there's a fruit
wait.
pie.
Is he close?
He's very close.
Is
There
he
is
really?
a fruit
He's very
pie there,
close.
and I cannot figure out what it is.
So would you like me to read you the tasting
Like,
notes?
I want to lean more fig, but I don't know if fig pie makes sense. Like
I've never
sweet-
personally had a fig
Well,
pie.
no, and I mean me neither. But that,
Nope.
But that does sound good.
there's a sweetness. There's a pie crusty
Like a prune, maybe?
graham cracker, but there's a fruity something.
Did I
And
hit
don't
it?
know, I don't
No.
know what
Oh.
fruit it is.
You're trekking on the right path though.
Okay.
That's-
Give us the tasting.
So I'll
notes.
give you the tasting notes. According to
Read what they wrote.
complex aromas of vanilla, aged fruit, and buttery shortbread.
Aged fruit.
Rounded,
There it is.
rounded off by caramel and a touch of oak. The palate has just a touch of sweetness, followed by spice, toasted nut and oak flavors, ending with a robust finish.
So that graham cracker, that was your shortbread.
Yes.
That's where.
That's what it is.
You hit it.
Yeah,
Man, you're getting really good at this. Like,
And I can see a little bit of the oakiness
Yeah.
on the more on the.
man.
man.
I'm not gonna lie though. I mean, I feel they did a good job with this one.
I'm not mad about it.
No, I'm not neither.
I want to revisit.
Okay.
That's
It deserved it.
that's a really cool bottle. That's a really cool collaboration.
and it's
Those
a
are-
cool story behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just the fact that they're not overhyping it is
Yeah.
a cool thing because you see a lot of
Yeah, and it could
overhyped
easily
stuff.
be, because that's something that could easily be overhyped.
Yes.
Ooh, speaking of Buffalo Trace, grab the one behind you. All right, so
I'm
this
gonna
is
have to-
Traveler,
I'm gonna have to guard the CNC. John's gonna try to walk out of the
right?
studio with
It's
it.
going to be gone. This is the
He's gonna be
Traveler.
like, hey,
I don't know. Where is Red Diamond made?
I know Milo's is
Buffalo
made in
Trace.
Abalaba. So which one?
This is Buffy
Okay,
Trace.
you got Buffy Trace in that hand.
This is Traveler.
Yes,
They're very similar in color.
I got you.
I don't see almost any difference. And just total disclaimer: this is a Buffalo Trace store pick from Lake Street Liquor, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. This is
Like, my eyes are.
Super tired or super like lit?
No.
Okay,
No.
just
no,
checking.
no, not tonight.
Not tonight. Ooh. Next week maybe.
Next week.
Next week maybe. Next week's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Where you at?
very similar on the
I
palate.
told you. I'm
Very
telling you
similar on
that
the
that's
palate.
got to be. I think they put the blended and bottled at Buffalo Trace to throw everybody the hell off.
I think they just put Buffalo Trace in another bottle.
A way to make more money.
Way to make more
Get
money.
on. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Like that pig. That's a good one. We did the. I don't remember when we. It's been a while since we did it, but we did the Cohiba Weller with Weller.
Yes.
That was good.
I got what I wanted.
Very similar.
He's like, I got what I want.